Our first presenter today is going to be Sandy Wagner, who has been very active in the computer-assisted language learning intersection for many years. We're happy to have her open this session type. And her presentation today is going to be on using polling programs to promote the power of 4 C's for language learning. And she's going to talk about a variety of engaging learning opportunities for both synchronous and face-to-face instruction that can serve as a springboard for communication, collaboration, and creativity. And her presentation is going to highlight some of the effective ways to utilize the features of these polling tools and to involve all students from the start and throughout the class in support of the 4 C's, which again are associated with 21st century learning, that is creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, and communication. And without further ado, I will turn things over to Sandy. Sandy, you can start sharing your screen and get your video on.
Thanks, Heather. Sure. Okay, thank you very much. Hi, everybody. I'm going to share my screen, open up the PowerPoint, and I hope you will pull out your smartphones and interact with me. There it is. So, actually, that's not where I want it. Let me go get it off my desktop. Much easier to do it that way. Oh my goodness. I've got. Can you see my screen? I'm getting kind of I'm going to open up the PowerPoint from here. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. Heather, is it coming through? Because it's kind of ambiguous on my, it says that it's sharing, but I want to make sure. So, can you see it? Are you able to see the PowerPoint? Hello?
Yes, you're getting lots of yeses in the chat.
Okay, sorry. You know, it's not letting me do the screen, but anyways, I'm just going to go from here. If maybe you could capture any chat. I apologize. Well, as you can see, the title of my presentation is Polling Programs to Promote the Power of the 4 C's. And there's a disclaimer at the bottom. I do work for the Department of Defense. We have a foreign language school that serves the U.S. military in Monterey, California. We teach over 23 languages. And I'm kind of bound by, you know, some security walls. So we'll do the best we can. Anyways, I'm happy that you are here, and I hope I can, you know, share some ideas that you can bring back to your own teaching practice or your faculty. So I want to start out with a pedagogy first approach. And what I find with any program, so it could be polling programs, it could be PowerPoint programs, as you see in the image here. And basically, polling provides its own pedagogical benefits. And while we do have specific polling programs, we can also take other programs and give them a polling pedagogical approach. And that's where I come from. I do a lot of training here, is that we have tools to work with. And sometimes, even though they may be marketed for a certain function, they can serve other purposes even more effectively than another program that's just very limited to one function. So as you can see here, I've got the 4 C's, and they're at the top there because they're supported by polling programs. I don't know if you're familiar with any of these logos. Mentimeter, Easy Poll is the second one. The third one is not Google Forms. We use Office 365, so that's our version of Google Forms. Or it could be any, you know, it's Google Forms. Slido is a new one, and then of course PowerPoints can be adapted. So without further ado, let's take a poll. And I'd just like to know what your go-to program is for creating surveys and polls. If you could, let me see if I can, I'm trying to just open, whoop. So if you can go to this link, and I'm going to go there, and okay. And if you know, and if you notice, what's really interesting about that is that we offer our learners options for access. So what is your go-to program for creating surveys or polls? Let me go back to the presentation so you can grab you should be able to grab the link from there. And I believe you can get it from the screen, or you can just go to slido.com and type in the code 996778 using your smartphone if you have a laptop handy, or you can QR code it also. So this is something that when we go at base level, the mechanics of any program are so important because our students have their preferences, and the easier it is for them to access, the more they're going to become engaged with the content. So anything there yet? Were you able to access this? So we should start seeing some responses here when you type it in. If not, we'll just go on. So I'm going to enter a word. I'm going to just say Mentimeter. Oh, thank you. All right, perfect. Thank you. Instant. So cool. And, you know, you're sitting there watching this. You know, what I like to do is polls are wonderful, but if there's a poll and you go, so what? You know, there's no benefit to it, but if you structure your prompts carefully, they generate more critical thinking, and they also generate future discussions. It could generate something you want your students to read, but I look at these as springboards, so very nice. Slido is the only one I know. Okay, well, hopefully you'll try out some of these other ones. So, and I do apologize that I'm having a little bit of, there we go, my access. Let me pull up the PowerPoint again. And okay, so let's go back here. All right, this should work. Okay, so thank you very much for doing that. Now, record your answer in chat. Which C did we address in this particular activity? Were we being creative, collaborating, communicating? Did you see any critical thinking there? Again, I want you to get to think outside that box. A poll is more than just creating, you know, answers, responses, generating, you know, even activating prior knowledge, which is important. But can we go further with it? I think that's the idea. Okay, so hopefully, you know, you were talking, it's communication, definitely. It can be creativity. Again, think about the way you're structuring the prompts. That's what's so wonderful about these programs. So I'm going to move on. And so here's another poll, a different C. Have you ever had a Zoom, what we call an oopsie moment? And what I mean by an oopsie moment is you're on Zoom and somebody walks into the room, a dog starts barking, your children are there tugging, or, you know, and we've all seen those YouTube videos where people come in and they're walking around in their underwear. They just forgot to get dressed because they were home and they didn't think the camera was on them. So this is another poll, and I thought this was really very functional and interesting because when you go to easy polls, and again, there's the QR code, you can actually post a video and it can be one of the responses, or as you can see what I did. Okay, it's not cooperating with me. Let's go see. Let me do this. So here, are you seeing this now? So have you ever had a Zoom moment? Now we can put in this video.
And this meditation is great for bringing about.
And you can kind of see her oopsie moments.
Well-being.
Look at her daughter.
And calm. So starting just quickly by breathing in.
I think you get the idea. She's trying to do yoga or something. So if I pose the question, now I have one of my responses, you watching a video, now you're integrating language skills. So if yes, this has happened to me, students can relate to that, or no, I never had an oopsie moment. And then of course, the next following activity would be, well, either let's discuss our oopsie moments, let's have a contest to see who's had the most embarrassing oopsie moment. There's a lot of ways you can go with this, but this is just a fun way to engage your learners, and you're also developing important language skills. So go back. So just another example of the ways you can use polls. Now, if you were talking about what C this might be, well, it's creativity. You know, again, it's you. I go back to you as the designer. These polls give you the tools to actually get creative, and now you can, it's very simple. You can embed video, you can embed an image. So there's a lot of different features there to explore. Okay, so again, another very wonderful polling program is Poll Everywhere. And I'm just going to go right into some of the ways that you can use this for critical thinking and learner engagement. So this was something we did a whole series of virtual learning when COVID hit. And we went into full gear because teaching 23 languages, and we had to maintain our military mission and meet our standards, even though all our students that were either in the barracks or they were in their apartments. They were really confined with a very intense workload. So we were training the teachers, many of them very resistant to going fully synchronous. And this was a presentation on learner engagement. And so what we did was let's see if I can get this video to play for you. Anyways, this is a video. It's Chubby Checker doing the twist. It's not playing on, maybe because I have it in Zoom. But anyways, they watched this. It's a very lively video. And then we had the students go to Poll Everywhere. And what was engaging about the video you viewed? Again, we were activating prior knowledge among our teachers. We were getting them engaged. They were all excited because the music was lively. And then we wanted them to identify terms that they felt defined this video. And again, I put this here in the interest of time. I know I have a short time span, but another way to use Poll Everywhere, but I activated the prompt now with a video, and then we went to the poll. So the poll became a springboard for discussion and for getting them more involved in it and getting a personal opinion. Okay, again, supporting the pedagogy, collaboration, and communication. This is an example of using, this is Microsoft 365 Forms. It's not as robust as Google Forms. I prefer those, but we are required to use these because we have uniform technology that we have to incorporate, but they work. So this was a course I designed for higher levels of English for some of our heritage speakers. And we were doing a unit on leisure. And this was just a way to get the week started. And again, it was right on the home page. It let me embed it. So as soon as we all got together, they opened up their computers. I had this on Apple TV. And again, what is your favorite type of R&R? Well, new term for people, idiomatic expression. And as you can see, we talked about staycation. The level, again, the level of language I incorporated was a little bit higher. And again, this is where you come in designing the prompts and the questions and even the language that you use. And the polling software allows you to do things like this. And then I had immediate responses. You can see that most of the students wanted a staycation in Monterey, which, you know, Monterey is gorgeous. If you've never been here, it's a really wonderful vacation destination. And now supporting the pedagogy, I call this prospects for polling. So this Padlet was certainly not designed to poll, but it polls so well. PowerPoint, again, you can take a slide, and now that you can animate more, it really does give you the opportunity to get some opinions. And again, the level of the opinion, the level of critical thinking is dependent upon how you design the task. So what we did here, again, this was part of learner engagement. We said we thought we'd ask everybody, since we were all at home going crazy, tell me what you really do when you're in synchronous chat in a boring meeting and everyone's muted. And it was really funny. So if you want it, we can take a look at this, and I can show you this. I actually modified this because I wanted to do a little bit. Let me see if I can get this to come up in Padlet. It should. I have this open. Here it is. So this is what it looks like when I designed it. And the beauty of Padlet is they give you this template. and it's perfect for polling. So I modified it so that these are some things that people do. They eat. They don't want people to see what you're eating. Thank you. I'm glad you're interacting with this. Yeah, they answer emails. They text, WhatsApp. Yes, you are. Yay. Thank you for being honest. But do you see what you're doing here? You're having fun. You're being creative. You're letting me have fun, which is fun. And then I actually did something a little more serious to lead the discussion into why our students became so distracted on synchronous chat. So there's more than just the funny reasons. There's reasons of they don't want people to see them. They want to remain anonymous. Maybe it's more comfortable for them to express an opinion. And so now I'm able to do this, and I can respond here, which is nice. I love this, that you can actually respond to these posts. Oh, here, I'm sorry. Just add there, and I can say, I can just do me too and leave a note, or I can, I can add in images, I can add another video. So you can see how your students are going to become engaged. They can get creative. You have a way to really expand on the language. So I encourage you to experiment also with Padlet and try it out, and just see if you can incorporate something new. So let me go back to my PowerPoint. Well, I'm just going to do it from here in the interest of time. Zoom is not being very good to me right now. Okay. So, and then the next one is Mentimeter. And I'm just going to go to my over here, and I pulled it up already. And what I like about Mentimeter also is the versatility. And I wanted to just show you the different types of topics I've addressed in Mentimeter. And the one that we did, it was for a teacher training, was online assessment, and this just works so well. So you can do more than one question. What words come to mind when you think of assessment? This was talking about assessment online, and then indicate your level of agreement with each statement. So I can vary the prompts, and again, you're only limited by your own imagination, creativity, and how you want to meet your objectives. Okay. So what I'd like to do is, I was just going to show you, but this is exactly what I just showed you on Mentimeter. So in conclusion, because I do want to leave time for questions, it's not about what it is, it's about what it can become. I always go to Dr. Seuss. He had such a wonderful way of expressing thoughts that really go deeper than our children understand. So it's looking at these polling programs and finding ways to make them collaborative, communicative, engaging, and all those things that do encompass the 4 C's if we truly want to have those types of environments and incorporate them. And just think about what features the polling programs have to offer, how can you adapt them to what you need to do, and mash them up. You just don't have to use a program and then you're done. You want to bring them together so they have a flow, so you can build context, or you can even assess. I know a lot of our teachers use Padlet as a final assessment because their students can make their own videos. They can do things in the target language, and especially during COVID, when that's all we had was virtual, they could put them on Padlet. Teacher could go in and actually read them. They could get formative assessment, peer review. So there's just a lot of benefit. So thank you for that. And I'm just going to close this out and hopefully come back to Zoom. There you are. So any questions? And thank you for your patience in my security walls that don't let me share very well. Any questions?
Super. Thanks so much, Sandy.
Thanks so much.
Screen sharing, please.
Oh, yes, I am sorry. Yeah, let me, where's my screen? Oh my goodness, where is, okay, cancel. I believe, did I do it? Yeah, it should be off now. Yeah, I don't know what happened. It's just my my security wall. So I do apologize that that got a little messed up.
Great. We did have
Great. We did have one.
Sorry, we're getting an echo. Sandy,
Sorry, we're getting.
for just one
Sandy,
sec?
Pardon?
Can you mute for one moment, please?
Mute for one moment.
Yes, I can.
Thanks. We did have one question
from
Lisa. And it was how to prompt students visual in their answer.
Okay, what I've done is require it. So before I even, I mean, obviously I'm, talking to adults and professionals. With students, I list requirements. So I will say, please post, I'll give them the prompt. So what is something you do when your camera's off and you're on synchronous chat or you're attending class synchronously? And if the assignment is on Padlet, I will say, requirements, please include a visual, include, an explanation of what you're doing, and is it, I will be very concise about the guidance I give, and let them know also that make sure that the visual matches the message. That's really important. So then, that's a good way to test if they really understand what they're telling you, and because the visual is there. But it's all in the way you construct the prompt. Make the tool work for you and your students. Yes, absolutely. So yes, thank you for those wonderful comments. Yes. So yeah, definitely. I think if the students need to know upfront the requirements, and they'll follow, and they'll really enjoy it. It's something that it's fun for them to go and search out.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that
answer.
Sure.
I'm still getting audio feedback here.
Any other questions?
Any other questions from the group?
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. And okay, so I will. I know you have there's another presenter right after me, right?
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Sandy, for that session. I know it was a quick one for you attendees out there, but we got to see several different platforms, many of which are free. And I encourage you, if you are interested in learning more about using online polling in the classroom, I'll put it in the chat here as we have a couple more minutes till our next presenter. We do have a Let's Learn Live, We're Calling on You set of daily polls that are being conducted this year through Mentimeter, but also on the Call IS Electronic Village homepage, we have what's called the Hands-on Learning tab, and I'll just show you where that is since we have a moment. And as I am switching to that view, I just want to again say thank you to Sandy for that presentation. Again, it's a topic that has been on a lot of minds in terms of increasing learner engagement in online and face-to-face settings. These can be used in class as well if your students have regular access to mobile devices in class. So let's see if I can bring up, there we go, the Electronic Village homepage. So for those of you who might not have had a chance to visit yet, this is this year's Call IS Electronic Village website. And you can find the schedule overview and each day's schedule of events here. And at the bottom of the home page, you can see, again, one of those QR codes that you can scan with your mobile device. And that will take you to each day's polls that we're conducting that are going to get you thinking about online polling and how you might use it in the ELT classroom. So you can access the daily polls there at the bottom of the home page. But if you want to learn more about Mentimeter and many of the other tools that Sandy just covered, you can click on the hands-on learning tab here at the top, and that will take you to some of the free resources that we are using to host different parts of the electronic village this year. So if you'd like to learn more about Mentimeter and online polling in general, you can come down to this section. Again, you can access that day's polls, but at the bottom, there are also several resources that tell you how you can apply these online polling tools in the classroom if you're new to using them. And we also list several other alternatives to Mentimeter here, sort of in the middle of the section, some that Sandy covered today, as well as some others. So when you have a few minutes during the convention or anytime after, we encourage you to come out and explore these hands-on learning resources, which you can access 24/7 and get some chances to kind of tinker or play with these tools yourself and think about if they're a good fit for your classroom.